beep, 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 beep. So the other day YouTube recommended this clip. So let's talk about the movie. Back to the Future is, ironically, for a movie about time traveling, a timeless classic. Rarely do we ever see such a good trilogy that stands the test of time. Did you see what I did there? But is the trilogy without its flaws? First, let me explain time traveling in Back to the Future.
I'm left.
Simply put, when a time traveler goes back in time and alters events in the past, he creates an alternate timeline.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Thanks.
So let's get started. This is the original timeline. The movie started with what 80s teenage boys dream of doing at least once in their lives: blowing their fucking eardrums with comically large loudspeakers. No, I mean having Claudia Wells as your girlfriend, obviously. Marty McFly is just a regular teenager living in Hill Valley. His mom Lorraine struggles with depression and alcoholism, his older siblings are losers, and Marty's dad George is a timid man who constantly gets pushed around by his boss Biff Tannen. That night, Marty meets Doc Brown. Doc reveals a time machine built from a DeLorean powered by plutonium he took from... Who, Doc?
Who do you think? The Libyans!
The terrorists show up, disintegrates Doc, and Marty flees in the DeLorean. He accidentally activates the time circuit and accelerates to 88 miles per hour, sending him into the past. Arriving in 1955, Marty finds that he cannot return to 1985 due to a lack of plutonium. He meets his teenage father and witnesses Biff bullying him even then. Marty saves George from an oncoming car but is knocked unconscious. He wakes up to find Lorraine, who becomes infatuated with him. Marty meets a younger Doc Brown. Doc realizes that Marty's actions are changing the future. Lorraine was meant to fall for George, so they gotta find a way to prevent her from falling in love with someone even worse. A fucking duck.
Alright, punk. Now I'm gonna... Whoa, Biff. What's that?
Lorraine asks Marty to the school dance, where Marty plans to behave inappropriately towards her so George can rescue her. However, Biff's gang locks Marty in the trunk of the band's car. George arrives, finding Biff assaulting Lorraine. George finally stands up for himself for once in his life and takes Lorraine to the dance. Back at the courthouse, Marty is preparing to go back. There's just one big problem. The DMC DeLorean is notoriously a bit of a shitty car for a sports car, and now it has a starting problem. Fortunately, Marty fixes this by hitting his head on the steering wheel. By the way, lightning strikes, sending Marty back to 1985.
No.
Just hit your head on the steering wheel. It worked last time. He arrives just as Doc is shot. As Marty mourns beside him, Doc reveals that he reassembled Marty's note, and instead of changing the venue entirely or choosing a different date or using a different power source altogether so that he didn't mess with the Libyans in the first place, he just wore a bulletproof vest, which shouldn't have worked against an AK-47 at that range. He still endangers both himself and Marty. Great plan, Doc. Doc takes Marty home and travels to 2015. Marty wakes up to find his father a successful and confident science fiction author, his mother happy and fit, his siblings successful, and Biff working as a valet for George, because once you punch a bully, that bully becomes a pussy for the rest of his life. And, most importantly, Claudia Wells. Remember Doc? He's back.
You've got to come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
Ha! He said it! He said the thing!
Both you and Jennifer turn out fine.
Oh, it's good that you say that, Doc. Wait. Who the fuck are you? Where's Claudia? Doc convinces Marty and Jennifer to travel to the future with him to help their future children. When they arrive in 2015, Doc renders Jennifer unconscious and leaves her in an alley. Great plan, Doc. He explains that their son Marty Jr. will be arrested for taking part in a robbery with Biff's grandson Griff, which will set off a chain of events that ruins the McFly family. So Doc instructs Marty to switch places with Marty Jr. and refuse Griff's offer. However, Griff calls Marty chicken, and it turns out chicken is Marty's trigger word. There are a few rules when dealing with bullies from 80s movies. Number 1, hey look, another Kanye West tweet! Clearly this did not work, because by the time I released this video, Kanye has deactivated his account. So yeah. F yeah. Number 2, kick his balls. Wait, I heard metal noise. He kicked metal. Have you ever tried kicking metal? It fucking hurts. And number 3, just duck. Just duck. And with that, Marty's future children are saved. Wait, Washington prepares for Queen Diana's visit. Oh no. Before rejoining Doc, Marty buys an almanac containing sports results from 1950 to 2000. Doc discovers the almanac and be like, with great power comes great responsibility, blah blah blah. Oh, so that's why Doc brought Jennifer along so that the plot could advance. Great plan, Doc. The police take her to a 2015 home, and Doc and Marty follow the police, as does an elderly Biff, who has overheard their conversation and retrieved the discarded almanac.
I can't believe this window's still broken. Well,
Oh no! Now let me introduce you to the 2015 McFly family. We start off with middle-aged Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox. He got involved in an automobile accident, messing up his head, thus ending his music career, and he lost his job, all because of one word. Chicken. Dude, that's a duck. Next up, Marty Jr., played by Michael J. Fox. He's the reason why Doc and Marty are here in the first place. Marlene McFly. She should have gone 20 years in jail for trying to bust her brother out. And guess what? She is played by Michael J. Fox. George McFly. We all know who he is, but do you know that he is portrayed by Michael J. Fox? Yes, behind the hideous face mold that led to a lawsuit and new regulations prohibiting the reproduction of likeness of other actors, is Michael himself.
Hey, you! Get your damn hands off
my likeness.
And Lorraine, who is portrayed by Michael J. Fox. Jennifer tries to escape the house but faints after encountering her 2015 self, who is also played by Michael J. Fox. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Marty and Doc, Biff steals the time machine and returns it. I guess Lorraine and George didn't raise him well, because who the fuck leaves their car unlocked and unattended like that? So Marty, Doc, and Jennifer return to 1985 because they have finished their business. Yeah, Marty effectively flushed his career down the drain, but at least his kids are not in jail. So, great plan, Doc. I assume that Marty's family has the same problems as his family in the original 1985. Marty Jr. is a wimp just like George, and Marlene, I assume, has no boyfriend. Because which male would date Michael J. Fox dressed in drag? Me. Marty slowly discovers that the 1985 he has returned to is different from the one he remembers.
Freeze! Hey,
Dude, just duck. Biff, who used the almanac to amass a fortune, has become one of the nation's wealthiest and most corrupted individuals. He transformed Hill Valley into a dystopian chaos, secretly murdered Marty's father.
Ted! Hey, Ted, where the hell's Corkscrew?
Wait, wrong movie. And coerced Marty's mother into marrying him. Doc determines that old Biff used the time machine to give his younger self the almanac. Here's the problem. Biff travels to 1955 and creates an alternate timeline in which Biff is corrupted. But Biff is able to travel back to his 2015 to deliver Doc's DeLorean. Not only that, Doc travels to 1985 in the corrupted Biff timeline. None of these makes any sense. And my brain's on fire. Marty learns from Biff that he received it on the day the courthouse was struck by lightning. Biff attempts to kill Marty. Kill him.
Suicide will be nice.
Why are you talking? Just kill him.
What if I don't?
Kill him.
Lead poison.
Kill him. But Marty escapes with Doc to 1955. Marty shadows Biff and observes him getting the almanac from his future self. Marty trails Biff to the school dance, cautiously avoiding any disruption to the timeline from his prior trip.
Hey, it's him! Hey, he's in disguise!
He's compelled to step in when Biff's gang targets his other self performing on stage. Oh, would you look at that? There's conveniently a number of sandbags tied together right on top of the goon's head. Marty successfully retrieves the almanac, but
You chicken?
and he's knocked out by himself. He chases Biff's car on his hoverboard and recovers the almanac, leaving Biff to eat shit for the second time that week. Marty incinerates the almanac, undoing the timeline altercations it had caused. But the DeLorean with Doc inside is struck by lightning and vanishes before Marty can get in. Moments later, a Western Union courier delivers a letter to Marty from Doc in which it explains that the lightning strike sent him to 1885. Marty rushes to find the 1955 Doc, who dies. All of this could have been avoided had Doc just be like, yo dude, I'm back from 2015. Your kids are hanging out with tenants. Stop that. Raise your kids better. Also chicken. It's delicious. And it's not an insult. When someone calls you chicken, it just means that you're very devourable. Marty and Doc locate the DeLorean using information from the letter and fix it so Marty could go back to 1985. However, Marty discovers a tombstone with Doc's name on it after finding the DeLorean, and the inscription said that Biff Tannen's great-grandfather, Buford Mad Dog Tannen, shot Doc 6 days after he wrote the letter. So Marty disregards the letter's caution and travels back to 1885 to rescue Doc, which is not possible because when Doc travels back to 1885, he creates an alternate timeline, the E timeline, and the DeLorean remains in that timeline until 1955. But Marty is in the D timeline, so he should not be able to receive the DeLorean, but fuck it, whatever. He arrives amidst a pursuit of Native Americans by cavalry. Really? No one saw that, but the fuel line of the car is damaged during the process. He outruns a black bear. Someone didn't do the homework, but he is knocked unconscious and found by his Irish-born great-great-grandparents Seamus and Maggie McFly, who looks suspiciously like Lorraine even though this is the father's side of the family. The following morning, using the alias Clint Eastwood, Marty arrives in a recently established hill valley where he encounters Buford. Buford attempts to hang Marty but fails when Doc intervenes. Doc, upon learning of his impending doom, agrees to depart 1885. However, the DeLorean can't reach the necessary 88 miles per hour without gasoline. Consequently, he suggests using a steam locomotive to propel the DeLorean to the required speed. While examining a rail spur, Doc prevents Claire Clayton, the town's new school teacher, from falling into the ravine. They fall in love instantly. During a town festival, Buford attempts to shoot Doc, but Marty intervenes. No, please don't.
What's wrong, dude? You yellow?
Buford challenges him to a showdown in 2 days. Doc visits Clara to break up with her and say goodbye. Clara doesn't believe his story about being from the future and feels insulted, so she rejects him and leaves town. The next morning, Buford comes looking for Marty. Marty sees his alias on the photograph of the tombstone and refuses to duel. Doc drinks just one shot and passes out. He is eventually revived, but Buford's gang captures him, which forces Marty to duel. Marty tricks Buford into thinking he's been fatally shot and knocks him into a wagon of shit. Buford and his gang are then arrested for a previous robbery. If only we knew.
Tomorrow we're robbing the Pan City stage.
Meanwhile, Clara, discovering Doc's heartbreak on a train, returns and finds the time machine model at his shop. Realizing he was truthful, she rushes to find him. Doc and Marty, using a stolen locomotive, push the DeLorean along the spur line. Clara catches up to the moving locomotive and Marty in the DeLorean gives his hoverboard to Doc, who uses it to rescue Clara. Marty reaches 88 miles per hour in the DeLorean and disappears. Upon his return to 1985, Marty narrowly escapes the DeLorean before it's destroyed. Reuniting with his girlfriend, he wisely declines a street race, thus averting the future accident that Doc has forewarned him about. But did you really have to do that? Like, that's pretty dangerous, isn't it? But at least the time machine has been destroyed as Doc went off. Coffee's back. In a flying train. Alright, I gotta wrap this up somehow. You have seen the thumbnail.
That motherfucker back there is not real!
In the initial experiment, Einstein travels 1 minute into the future, and in that 1 minute, there is no Einstein. So when Marty travels from 1985 to 2015, there is no Marty in that time frame. This implies that the existence of middle-aged Marty in 2015 is paradoxical. You could hypothesize that Marty travels back to 1985 to occupy that time frame. No, he jumps directly into the nightmarish timeline in which Biff is evil and corrupted, and then when the normal timeline is restored, he chooses not to race with needles, which does not result in the life that middle-aged Marty is living. So who the hell is he? Also, Jennifer comes with him, so middle-aged Jennifer should not exist, and so do their 2 kids. The entire Marty McFly family, all played by Michael J. Fox, shouldn't be here right now. Furthermore, it can be argued that Marty's existence is never in jeopardy in the first movie. Upon his return to 1985, his home, siblings, and parents are different from his memory. He's unaware that he possesses the 4x4 he desires, or that Biff is now subservient to his family. These facts imply that this Marty and the original Marty are 2 distinct individuals. That Marty would be the one doing the fading, not him. The original Marty merely replaces Marty in the alternative timeline, which raises the question, where does the displaced Marty go? Presumably, he returns to 1955, but that is also the destination of the original original Marty. What happens when two time travelers travel to the exact same location at the exact same time? Do they become one? Do they become conjoined twins? Or does the entire universe as we know it just fucking explode? Or Doc knows all of this, so he wisely selects a different time, presumably a time so far back, so that Marty, when escaping the Libyans, accidentally travels back to the point where there is no mean for him to reach 88 miles per hour, meaning he cannot go back to 1985. He'll be stuck there forever.
But does any of this matter? Ignore this butthead, he's not very fun at parties. Because the Back to the Future trilogy isn't just a story about time travel, it's a story about the choices we make and the people we become. It's about the sheer joy of adventure and the idea that no matter where or when you are, you have the ability to shape your identity. Sure, the timeline might not always add up, but that's not the point. The Back to the Future trilogy isn't perfect, but it's perfect to me. It's a timeless reminder that stories don't have to be flawless to be meaningful. They just have to make us feel something. It's a masterpiece of imagination, a testament to the fact that sometimes the best stories are the ones that don't let the logic get in the way of fun.
Lame. Wait, watch out! Hello, kid. Wow, it's me from the future. Nice mustache, by the way. Thanks. Anyway, I'm here to deliver you this. Oh, cool, a sports almanac. Thank you. I will surely only use this for research purposes and totally not for financial gain, obviously. And also, before I came here, I went in the past and tampered with the timeline just a little bit. What did you do in the past? Hey, for the sake of humanity, when you see this dude, just accept his application. Please? No. Please? No. Please? No. Please? No. Please? No. I'm begging you. No. I'm begging you. Okay. Super Bowl. So because you tampered with the past, Philadelphia lost this time. I wonder what's going on in Philadelphia right now. Okay, so the exact same as when they win. What about the Premier League? You know, it's not the end of the world. You should really put yourself out before I disappear.